champion Bryce Shoemaker is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
When you run a playoff format, you limit the list of drivers that have a chance at a championship. And as we make it to round number 3 of that playoff format, the list is even more limited. Live here tonight from Nashville Super Speedway for QSR Simulations Chase for the Cup Next Gen Series. It's the Elite 8, live on V-Speed. Welcome in, everybody. I'm your host, Bradley Cooper, and I've been with you all season long. It's down to just 8 drivers here in the playoffs as we take a look at your point setup. After last week's cutoff, Tristan Pena, Christian Ruck-Regal, Ryan Philbrick, and Ethan Wisnowski are eliminated from this. And realistically, it's down to 2 drivers on that cutoff line. It's 12 points and 14 points off of that mark for Austin Thomas and Nicholas Caldwell. Nick Caldwell having a massive drop in the points here. Had a great regular season. Now finds himself back in 6th. It's not a win and you're in situation. He can get a good finish. But for guys that had a really good regular season, outside looking in, coming into week number 3 of this playoff format, it hurts. And I can tell you, it all fell apart there at Talladega for Nicholas Caldwell. Austin Thomas has rebounded from where he was racing at Pocono. You take a look at the schedule, the second to last race of the season, Nashville Super Speedway, then on to Charlotte May 13th for 125 laps. That will be our season finale, where we will take our final 4 of all these drivers, and it is dwindled down to just 8 of them. It gets better and better every single week in this playoff format. It is just like an NFL championship. A win and you're in for these drivers outside of that top four. Quentin Stewart, Jesse Gordon, they're not out of the woods just yet. They have to have a good night tonight. It really could end the season right here. Taking a look at our track map, it's Nashville Superspeedway open January 1st, 2001. We just had some recent broadcasts at this racetrack. It is a concrete 1.33-mile oval with 14 degrees of banking in the corners. And that tri-oval definitely similar to what you see at Vegas or tracks like Chicagoland. But unlike those tracks, the banking is not there. It's an abrasive track surface with that concrete, and it will chew up these tires. 120 laps, 45 mile per hour pit road speed limit, 5 tire sets available. Stage at lap 36. So that's the so important part of this as well in this format. But with that, it's time to take you trackside, get the grid up on your screen, and starting on the pole here tonight, it's going to be Jesse Gordon in the number 10, a 29.639 to start on that top spot. Quentin Stewart came to play. He will start to his outside, 0.02 of a second off. Row number 2 belongs to Austin Dowdy. Then you have Tristan Pena in the 4th position. We'll continue through this grid with Jason Blaney and Johnny DePasquale. He's been up in the booth a couple times here and got his win in the playoffs. Not playoff eligible, but through the top 10, Austin Thomas, Wyatt Walker. Top 10 to the very end, Christian Rodrigo and Ethan Wisnowski. But green flag is out, and we're underway here tonight from Nashville. Caution comes out right out of the gate. A car in the background there. I believe that is Wyatt Walker, who is off the racetrack. John Walker. Contact between the two of them. And already on lap 1, problems for 2 cars. Costner out as well. 3 cars involved in this. Let's take it back on our V-Speed instant replay and see what happened to these drivers. That doesn't quite do it justice, so let's back it up. 85 gets turned, hits the 86. Mitchell Costner back on the racetrack. Must have had a connection issue, but let's see what happened to the 85 car. He got loose going into the corner. I don't think there was any contact there with the 5. Chasing up the racetrack, overcorrected there. Not a lot of banking to keep that nose pointed towards the inside, and just jerked it back to the right, send it up towards the outside wall, and that's going to do it for the day. No fast repairs here tonight. I guess we can take you through the rest of that grid there when we had Randy Sully and Mitchell Costner, then rounding out your field with Brent Allen. Alan Dobbs not electing to take a time. Dobbs has already picked up 2 spots from that incident to start out this race. We apologize for that late start. But if you'll notice, we added some new elements here in that top right corner, QSR simulations. I almost forgot, Quinn. And I'm not going to lie, I was feeling a little bit under the weather before we started this race. Kind of slept in today. I was starting to feel a little sickly last night. But once you say QSR Simulations is coming to race, suddenly all of that left my body and I was ready to go for the second to last race of the season here. Playoff round number 3. As we double back up, we're going to get this restart going the proper way. Not much has changed in the top 5. Tristan Pena did gain a position there on that restart. He will be on the outside now of Austin Dowdy. Actually didn't change at all really in the top 5. Austin Thomas moved up a couple positions. He's the one that's going to elect on that outside. But the top 4 hasn't changed hands since that grid. Jesse Gordon ready to go for this one. Got his first win just last week in the 10 car. Looking to do it again. Here we go. Let's start him off the right way this time. They gave me a second chance. Let's give them a second chance. Lap number 5 here at Nashville. Stage at lap 36. Jesse Gordon into the restart zone. Here we go. Properly this time from Music City. Racetracks that's had a recent art update. Clean Air doing great for Jesse Gordon. You go back here with Pena and Quentin Stewart, who is qualified well. It looks like he's dropping back a little bit here as Pena will go around for the 4th position car chasing it down the racetrack. That's Blaney all the way to the apron. He had to save that, but he'll hold on to it. Get back in line just behind Nicholas Caldwell. We talked a little bit about the points there in that introduction. Caldwell 14 points back from that cutoff mark. And you had Austin Thomas just ahead in the points. Thomas has fallen back to 8th position, so right now where it sits, and I want to say that Waylon Turner, problems with the internet this week. So that's why you're not seeing that car out on the racetrack. And the number 18 going to pretty much forfeit this spot as Tristan Pena finds his way to 2nd position. Remember, he did rather well, and I think it was Kentucky Speedway track very similar to this one. Can he go up there and chase down Jesse Gordon? Johnny DePasquale trying to hold on to that 6th position. Jason Blaney back on offense after having that out of 4. And then side by side back here with Thomas, who's falling through this field. Down 2 positions. Has the 5 and the 54 who's on the move. Alan Dobbs from back at the end of this field up to 10. 110 left to go and a little bit of damage on the 35. You can see the nose as we look off the back of Alan Dobbs. Looks like Austin Thomas picked up some damage somewhere along the line on this restart. He tries to tuck in behind the 5 of Wisnowski out of 3 and 4. He continues side by side for that 7th position. 8th position, rather. Lead stretched out to Jesse Gordon is at exactly 1 second. Tristan Pena. Austin Dowdy into the top 3. He started there, but he's loose off of 4. On board with the 8. And just as I put the camera on him, Dowdy falls back, and Quentin Stewart takes over the top 3 spots. Dowdy falls back to 6th. Lost 3 in 1 corner right there, getting loose. Just wheeling it a little bit too hard here. by side here with Quentin Stewart. The 11 of Caldwell gets into the left rear. And we're 3 wide off of turn 2. Here's Jason Blaney to the inside of both of these drivers. The 11 of Nicholas Caldwell knows what's at stake here tonight. He has a top 4 contender just in front of him there. But with Austin Thomas falling all the way back to 11th, this could seal the deal for him to be in that top 4. As it sits right now, he would make it in. Blaney gets around for 3rd spot. Lead continues to grow. 10-car Jesse Gordon running his own race right now. He is untouchable. 1.1 seconds there for a moment. Tristan Pena trying to chase him down. Gordon doing a fantastic job here so far in the first 16 or 15 laps of this race. Another driver that is top 4 eligible tonight, Brent Allen in the number 13. He started in 17th. He's worked his way up to 11. He has gotten ahead of Austin Thomas. Galen Wunsch in the 199 behind him. There's some contact there with the 33 of Ruck Regal, as we'll take it on board here with Brent Allen. Got a car to the inside here. Ruck Regal not giving up easily here through 1 and 2. A pinch down here from the 13 to hold him to the bottom of the racetrack. Not enough there for Brent Allen to hold him at bay. It's difficult to pass here. Not difficult to get side by side, but it is a lot harder to complete the pass. And still fighting here. I see V-speed all over that machine, and I love it. Back up front. 1.5 seconds. Jesse Gordon continues to pull away. In this short stint of 36 laps, he should make it on fuel. 100% in the fuel tank here tonight. So the 10 car should have no problem getting around this 1 1/3 mile racetrack all the way to stage end. It's going to be difficult for the rest of this field. Jason Blaney still in 3rd spot, trying to chase down Tristan Pena. Last time by 0.3 faster for the 22 car. Pena ran a 29.991, almost a 30-second lap time. Come back around here to see how much closer the lap times are. 700ths that time for Blaney. He'll continue to shave away at Tristan Pena. Can he get it under 1 second here? So we only have about 16 laps to go. Top 3 very spread out, side by side back here for the 5th position. Alan Dobbs to the outside of Quentin Stewart. 5th spot, give it to the 54, moving up through this field rather quickly. 13 positions gained for your points leader coming into tonight. Nicholas Caldwell Racing driver in the 54. He's had some mishaps, but recently those mishaps have been happening with his teammates. Remember back to Talladega where he had the 20 of Wren in front of him. And the contact that sent him out of 4 spun out the 20 car and gave the win to an entirely different driver. A lot of different things that have went on around Alan Dobbs. He just has so much raw talent, trying to harness that energy and keep him focused on the big picture. And see, It's always polar opposite here for Alan Dobbs. He's either winning this race or he doesn't finish. I mean, it's crazy to think there's no in between for this guy, but he is full send every single week. Looking off the back of Nicholas Caldwell, running in fourth spot. That teammate behind him looking to get this position. Blaney about 1 full second ahead, as Blaney has caught up to Tristan Pena for that second spot. Starting to accordion back together for the drivers that might have used up their tires. 22 car going after him. But Jesse Gordon is gone. Dowdy, who started up in the top 3, back to 8th now, running side by side with Johnny DePasquale for the 7th spot. 42 doesn't get to the door there off of 2 that time around. And Dowdy's showing some speed. He's going to get right up to the bumper of the 99 of Quentin Stewart. Pass on the outside for 6th. How about that for Dowdy? All these drivers put some time in this week. There goes the 42 to the inside, still looking for that 7th position. A pitch down here through the entry and exit of the corner. Stewart able to keep the 42 at bay. Look back here in the back of the field. We got a car sideways. That's CJ Gates. Caution is gonna come out right here at lap 27. And that big lead that Jesse Gordon just had of 3.5 seconds is gone. This is gonna be a question mark of how bad do you need stage points? It also stretches out the fuel run a little bit here. We might see these drivers bring it down. We might have half the field come down pit road here. 5 tire sets available. I think if I'm playoff eligible and I'm 5th place on back, I'm going to come down pit road. I'm going to come down pit road, get 4 fresh ones, and try to chase down this 10 car. And some faking going on, but hey, Austin Dowdy was listening. I like it. So the 8 leads him down into the pits. Christian Rodrigo, Galen Wunsch also in. Brent Allen, Mitchell Costner, Austin Thomas. I like this call because of the playoff implications. The points are oh so important. You're going to have about a 4-lap shootout here. Why not come down and burn one of those tire sets? You can't take them with you when you go next week to Charlotte. Why not? I agree completely with this call for most of these drivers. It just makes sense. But if you're up here in this top 7, you're probably going to be sweating it a little bit here. Johnny DePasquale electing to stay out. How long can he defend? These guys are going to be much, much faster. Want to say the lap times had fallen off almost a full second. These guys are well over 30-second lap times. Should be enough cushion here for Jesse Gordon. We'll have to wait and see. It'll be the first time that Jason Blaney has been able to contest the lead on this restart. As the rest of the field catches back up, Ethan Wisnowski peels it back down pit road to top off with some fuel. And we'll double back up here on lap 30. 5 laps left to go in stage number 1. Stage cut off at lap 36. When we complete that, we will be awarding points to the top 10. Only 8 of them matter here tonight. It's really the showdown 7 with Waylon Turner and the internet issues for the 18 team here tonight. But shout out to Turner coming into this event second in the points. Unfortunate there for him. Sandra Nielsen, thank you for getting that chat going. Hype him up. Second to last race of QSR. Chase for the cup. Gordon, Blaney, Pena, Caldwell, and Dobbs, the top 5 for this one. Here we go for a 5-lap shootout. Third restart of the day. Pace truck out of the way. And Jesse Gordon, let's see what he can do in that clean air. Can he maintain it? Green flag back underway at Nashville. On a side-by-side back here from the third spot. Pena falls back. Here comes Dobbs to the inside of the 11. He'll dive to the inside of Pena into 3. These cars on fresher tires working their way through. 99, Stewart almost had a moment there. Here comes Dowdy. Dowdy, one of the first cars on 4 fresh ones. Rodrigo really sent it there into the corner, and Pena into the wall. Still 3 wide coming off the corner. Pena falls back to 14. These guys on fresher tires do not want to see a caution. As Austin Dowdy gets loose off of the corner, he's across the nose of the 13. The yellow's out. No way we're not going to have a caution for that one. Dowdy sent it down to the bottom and crashes 3 other cars. That's going to do it for the stage. Jesse Gordon's going to get it. There's the top 10. As it sits right now, we're catching back up to the pace truck. We'll not officially announce those names just yet, but great points for Dobbs, Caldwell, Gordon. You got Wunsch in there and Stewart in there. Thomas, it is a lot of this top 8. Brent Allen falls back to 13th, though. Let's get a look at the instant replay and see exactly what happened. They're going to come down pit road this time around. But let's go back with Brent Allen. Here's the bounce off, and the 8 car hits him. Randy Sullick just able to sneak through that. Dowdy's going to get loose here off the corner. Overcorrection off the apron into the 13, the 33, the 35, who apparently didn't have enough front end damage. Teammate to Austin Dowdy. This could be another one here where the 35 just can't catch a break. You watch right there, just too much wheel into it to keep it on the bottom. And he would have been okay, but he touches that apron again and just nowhere for the 13 to go. A lot of damage repair coming up for a lot of these cars. The 14 who brought out that first caution down on the apron all the way down to the grass. And that'll do it for stage number 1. Some cars that had stayed out. 6 laps on the stint here for Galen Wunsch. He is in Hail Mary mode. 26 points out from that cutoff mark. I believe he will be the leader. The 5 car not going to get that wave around, and he'll have to drop to the back of this field. Doubling back up for stage number 2. Second to last race of the season. Playoff round number 3. Jesse Gordon, your stage winner. 3 cautions, 1 lead change. Disbelief here from Brent Allen as we get set to go back green, trying to stay in it. Here we go for stage number 2 from Nashville. Galen Wunsch leading him in to turn number 1. Jason Blaney looking on the inside. He got around the 10. Clean air has been detrimental. If you can get out front, good chance we'll see the 22 try to run away with this one as Johnny DePasquale looks inside for 3rd spot on the 10. Your stage winner falling back through this field a little bit as Alan Dobbs contact with the 5 in the background. Caution is out again here. Ethan Wisnowski. 3 laps down, another caution. What went wrong here for the 5? Just another case of getting loose through 3 and 4. Overcorrection, and the 14's there again. CJ Gates cannot catch a break. The 35 caught one that time. Austin Thomas with his heavily damaged, I can't even tell what it is anymore. Looks like a Camaro. Watch this coming out of 4. All the way to the grass. One more time. Watch how close this is here with the 5. And so Jason Blaney takes over the top position. Don't go anywhere. We have more coverage to continue here from Nashville Super Speedway. You're watching QSR Simulations Chase for the Cup Next Gen Series. Second to last race and round number 3 of the playoffs. It's the Elite 8 from Nashville. We're on V-Speed right after this.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Welcome back here live as we go back green flag. We missed one lap there as Jason Blaney took the restart. Jesse Gordon trying to chase him down in the number 10 to look to the outside. Gordon proved in that first stage of the race that he was the car to beat. Pulled out to almost a 3-second lead at one point. Still locked it up with that late caution with just about 7 or 8 laps to go. We restarted there just at 4 or 5. But it is clean air. That is the difference maker here. The car that is just on the edge of making that split as the 10 gets sideways. Jesse Gordon loses 5 positions, jumps up in front of Quentin Stewart. And there was contact there. The 10 car almost lost it. Trying to keep pace. Chaos back here in 7th, 8th position. And another moment there. Tristan Pena loses it. Gets into the 10. And just, I mean, Quentin Stewart, how many are you going to dodge here? We have a lot to unpack here on the replay. Let's back this up even further and see what happens in the 10 car. Jesse Gordon fell all the way back to 11th. He had contact with Galen Wunsch. Sent the 10 car sideways. And Quentin Stewart nowhere to go. Got into the back of him. And now we're having another moment here as we go back to a live shot. Johnny DePasquale. So we got another thing to unpack. Contact between him and the 54 of Dobbs. And DePasquale did a fantastic job of saving this car, but that brought Quentin Stewart into the top 3. What is going on? Haymaker after haymaker here. Looking off the back of Quentin Stewart, currently in the 3rd spot. Galen Wunsch needs a win to get in to this Final 4. This could be a real opportunity. How much is he saving on his tires? Does not want to see a caution as the 42 gets back around the 00. And it's chaos here between Dobbs, Pena, Caldwell, Stewart. Looking back off again from the 99. little bit of damage on the front of the 54 as well. And that might hurt your points leader's straightaway speed. You see him battling back there with Tristan Pena. And you started in the top 5 here today, still hanging on to the edge of that as he races inside of Dobbs for the 5th spot. How many cars have picked up front end damage here tonight? Just barely get any contact at all, and it seems like the noses on these Camrys just bend in a little bit easier. Taylor Wunsch 2.2 seconds back from the lead. Jason Blaney continues to pull away. Last time by a 10th faster than Galen Wunsch. Clean air in front of the 22. 5 cars out of the race here tonight with CJ Gates, Brent Allen done for the day, Christian Ruckriegel, Wyatt Walker, and John Walker all out. Unfortunate for Brent Allen. He was 18 points out of the cutoff line. Could have had a good day here to get him into the final 4. We'll see some side-by-side back here with the 11 and the 99 for 3rd. Caldwell, 14 points out, 12 points out for Austin Thomas, who's back in 10th right now. As it sits, the 11 would make it into the final 4. Waylon Turner pretty much out of it now. Even with the drop week, I don't believe that Turner can make it in. Not sure if it was weather-related at 50 car. Pena looks to the middle there, making it interesting amongst these drivers. On board with Pena as the 11 does clear the 99, almost into the wall. He'll get into it. A little bit too early to that throttle. He ends up losing a couple spots over that. Off the back of the 50 car, the 54, your points leader, Alan Dobbs, got right up in the mirror there in the entry of 3. He's going to do it again here into 1. He'll take the outside. Pena lets him have it. Johnny DePasquale getting a little bit tight there out of 2. A dance back and forth as Pena went to the bottom down the backstretch. Don't think he was intentionally trying to block. He just wants the 54 to stay on the outside. Almost some contact off the corner. And Pena will fall back now to 7th. Costner creeping his way back towards this group of cars. Costner has had a connection issue all night tonight. Blaney's lead 2.5 seconds over Galen Wunsch. A little spot of damage on the back of the 199 now. I didn't see that before. I think it's been there since the restart. And that might make sense. Wonder where it came from. The 3-second spread from Nicholas Caldwell up to Galen Wunsch. He's starting to pull away from Quentin Stewart, again showing how much clean air means here tonight. Costner will look to the inside off the exit of 2. This is for the 7th position. Tristan Pena, Mitchell Costner. And it's 3 seconds back here to Randy Soleil. Austin Thomas, one of your playoff contenders. Heavy damage on the right front. Halfway through this race. We come back around for lap 61. Let's find those volume knobs here on B-Speed. Second to last race of the season. Let's turn up the volume, crank it up with Walker's Ridge Plantation.
say, God bless our troops, God bless America, and gentlemen, start your engine!
But Jonathan Parker, he locked it up in the end of stage one. Jonathan Parker, our season 5 champion. Bryce Shoemaker is going to take the victory, 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
I just got three things to say. God bless our troops. God bless America. And gentlemen, start your engine!
Welcome back here where we actually have microphone audio finally here on V-Speed. I'd like to apologize to QSR and everything that happened. My calls were on point. I saw what was happening there with Galen Wunsch. He was catching up to him by about 0.2 of a second at the end of this race, and I'm not sure how long you guys lost contact with me here tonight, but again, apologies here on my end and what I was doing here tonight as we have concluded our race with the Elite 8 at Nashville. Show the results up on the screen. Your stage winner, Jesse Gordon. 5 caution, 6 lead changes with Nicholas Caldwell finding his way to victory lane for the 5th time this season. Galen Wunsch put on one heck of a show there at the end of this thing to finish in second, chasing him down from over 4 seconds back. That is impressive. Alan Dobbs will get third, and we'll get a word with the top three in just a moment. Tristan Pena will finish in fourth. Jason Blaney in the top five. Johnny DePasquale will finish in sixth. Mitchell Costner will finish seventh. Randy Saleh in eighth. Austin Dowdy in ninth. There's Quentin Stewart, one of those top four hopefuls. We'll have to see how this all shakes out with his top 10. Jesse Gordon, another one of those drivers that was in the top four coming into tonight, but finishes behind Quentin Stewart. Not sure how that will shake out. Austin Thomas was outside of the top four cutoff line. And you have Ethan Wisnowski, CJ Gates, a few of these other drivers that were trying to get into this top four in the playoffs. Brent Allen, another one of those guys, early exit for him. Christian Rockriegel, Wyatt Walker, and John Walker. Of course, the 11 with Waylon Turner not making it here tonight. That's another one to pay attention to with exactly how that went down. We got a lot to unpack here at the post-race show. But with that, it's time to bring up your top three into the broadcast booth. And the first driver that we are going to talk to is your third place finisher. Looks like we have Alan Dobbs in the number 54 coming up into the broadcast booth first. Alan Dobbs, I got to say, it was damage on the front end, I think, that hindered you the most here tonight. But you're able to salvage a top three out of it. Kudos to you. I know you were points leader. You got a lap led. You did everything you needed to do with the car handling the way it was.
Yeah, that damage at the start of that long green flag run just really, not only did it kill the track position because the leader really got away from us, but it killed front downforce on the car for sure. A splitter was up off the ground. So I wish I'd had time to fix that, and I probably should have at that last caution, but I didn't want to have to come through the entire lead lap pack to try to get back up there. All in all, it was a good race. Nick made it in. So we got two drivers in the final four. 50% chance there. One of us is going to get it. And if history repeats itself, it won't be me.
Well, I can tell you this, with Waylon Turner having internet issues, I don't know if it was weather related or exactly what went on, but that situation kind of, it just throws everyone's name into a bucket and then you shake it up. I see all these guys that had bad races here tonight, with Quentin Stewart making the mistake on pit road. You had Austin Thomas, who had damage most of the night. You also had Brent Allen, who's out of the race. And then Galen Wunsch, who charged to the end of this race to get within a 10th. There was so much going on this racetrack tonight.
Yeah, it really was. There was a lot of the points from, I don't know, like fourth all the way back to eighth was, I don't know, just like 10 points or something. It wasn't much. It was really close. So
yeah,
anything definitely could have happened. And I hate all those guys had so much trouble. It would have been a lot more interesting to, for everybody to have had a good night and see how the points played out, all that good stuff. But all in all, it was a good day for NCR.
Outside of that, yeah, focus on what's good for you. Alan, you came in here with the points lead. Most likely you're going to be right on the edge of that with the 11. Caldwell getting that victory. It's going to be probably down to you two here at Charlotte. What's your plans and your approach? Are you going to share a lot of information with your teammates next week?
Against my better judgment, yeah, I'll probably do all the same strategy work, and we'll talk and plan the race out and try to help each other make good calls. I have no reservations putting the bumper to him, though, if it comes down to it. And I know for a fact he don't me. So if we're racing for the win next week, it'll be exciting at least.
Well, no reservations on that bumper. I've seen you maybe move a teammate out of the way earlier in the season as well there, Alan. So I look forward to what happens in the future, and appreciate you coming up here in the booth with us. Anybody want to shout out while we have you up here?
Shout out to my beautiful wife, as always, all the guys at NCR, all the admins, everybody that raced tonight, you guys for the broadcast, everybody watching. Appreciate all y'all.
Alan Dobbs into the final four at Charlotte on lap lead, started in 18th at the tail end of this field for a top three. Appreciate you.
Thanks, man. Have a good one.
That moves us on to our second place finisher who put on a hell of a show, Galen Wunsch in the 199. I tell you what, if there was 5 more laps in this race, you are passing the 11 car. You chased him down from over 4 seconds back, all over the back porch there on that final lap. It just, man, I tell you, you needed it. I don't know what else you could have done.
I tried. I wasn't very good at setting it up. I got to him and I was like, okay, am I going to go high in 3 and 4? Maybe try and get him down low or 1 and 2. I mean, and then 3 and 4 trying to go low. Or it seemed like I was pretty decent in both corners, but I just a little too late.
Well,
Heck, I
I
would
can
have
tell
still
you,
in the top 5.
I can tell you this, man. You had me guessing everything up in the broadcast booth, and unfortunately, my microphone decided to stop working somewhere in the race. I don't know when it disconnected itself, so I have no confirmation of exactly when things went wrong. But I was shouting at it. I saw you gaining 0.2 a lap.
Yeah, I'm gonna go back and watch it. It's always exciting to hear you broadcast.
Yeah, something happened with the microphone, so none of the audio came through. The calls were on point. I could see you catching them there with about 20 to go. As soon as you got clear of Pena and Dobbs, I could tell that the 199 had been saving something in the back.
Yeah, I was trying so hard. I almost wanted to put the bumper to him, but I did not want to wreck him, and that's
I don't know, Galen. I mean, based off of where the 11 was coming into tonight, with Nick being right there behind Austin Thomas, who had a bad night, I think he got in there because Brent Allen was out of this race. I mean, you were the only one that had to win this race, I think, based off of points.
Yeah, I did. I don't think I made it. I think they just told me.
Yeah, I think it was right on the edge there. So I think I send it into 1 and 2 and just move them out of the way.
I should have just went for it, right?
I don't know, man. It's a tough call, but you go back and you look at this in the future. All these guys are going to respect you more for not doing that.
Yeah, I also got a shout out to Jesse Gordon. I got into him, and I kept thinking he was going to get me back. I was like, here it comes. he moved out of the way, let me go, and I was like, oh man, that was class.
That proves that it wasn't intentional. You could have had a race win in front of you. If you wanted to be a wrecking ball, you could have done it again right there. You were at that rear bumper in 1 and 2, but once it was a great season. You made it to that top 8, right on the edge here of not making it. Anybody though that you want to shout out while we have you in the booth?
Oh man, give a shout out to the broadcast. I really enjoy it. You make it interesting and fun to watch. I have to admit, and the guys, I got to give a shout out to Mitch. He's the one that bought me the track. I wasn't gonna race. I was like, dang, I don't have the track. I'm probably gonna make it anyway. And he gave me
Sponsored by
bought me the track.
Mitchell Costner tonight. Fed up.
Mitchell Costner, yep.
Well,
Yes.
Lunch, appreciate you coming up here again. It was fantastic to watch you chase the 11 down, and sorry that most likely it's not going to have audio. I know there were some problems with my microphone here tonight, but we're going to give the fans what they deserve. Appreciate you coming up here, and we look forward to seeing you for the last race of the season. Go win that one at Charlotte. Just prove to everybody that you should have had this championship.
Get it? Yeah. Okay, I'll do my best.
199, Galen Wunsch led 3 laps, started 13th, top 3 finish in the second to last race. And finally, that brings us to victory lane, where a driver has added his 5th win of the season, number 5 now for Nicholas Caldwell. And I tell you what, that mirror got really full at the end of that broadcast.
Yeah, I was trying to baby it, just to try to get to the end. He caught me a lot faster than I thought he was going to. I also wasn't totally aware that if he would have won the race, I might have been out. But now that I know that I was in, I should have checked up so Clinton wouldn't be in. But yeah, that was a good race. They kind of used each other up in front of us with about 20 to go, and I knew we were in a good spot. So happy to get this 5th win. We should have a couple more, but we'll take the 5th win and try to win a championship next week.
So how that all would have shook out, I want you to go through that one more time. So if you would have checked up, let the 199 by, he would have had a win and he's in. you would have been in there, and that would have eliminated Quentin Stewart.
Yeah, 100% would have been just to mess with Quentin. I wouldn't actually have done that, but it's fun to poke fun at Quentin. I think everybody does, but overall, that was a good run for us. I knew I was 2 points out going in, and I knew the 35 had an issue in the first stage, so I knew we were good if we just finished the race. I just couldn't get wrecked at the end, so overall, it was a good race.
And knowing that on the fly, I mean, I tried to do the calculations. I tried to look at the way everything was shaking out. I mean, I had it written down here with 12 on the split there with Thomas. You're 14 back on the cutoff. Brent Allen, who got into trouble there in the first part of this race, and then Galen Wunsch, who's 26 back, he has to throw some Hail Marys, and he almost threw one there into 1 and 2. I enjoyed every moment of this race tonight.
Yeah, it was a good race. It was a lot more exciting than I wanted it to be. The 199 was the fastest car by far. If he had one more lap, he would have won. But we didn't have that extra lap. We only had 120 tonight, and we're going on to next week, and hopefully we'll give it a good run. I've never won this many races in a league in a regular season when I've raced with Dobbs, and I'd always beat him in the championship race. So I guess Dobbs is going to win the championship next week because got to flip the trend.
Gotta flip the trend. I don't know. I think I told Galen to go out there and win that race, so maybe you guys will be fighting for second. But outside of that, Nick, you've had a fantastic year. 5 wins on the season. It was polished in the regular season. It looked really good, but here in the last 3 races, man, it has been rough. You've had to scrap and claw your way to stay into this. And I know it means a little bit more now that you've made it into this Final Four after all that happened to you in the first playoff races.
Oh, for sure. And I told Quentin I had 5 races, and he schedules a plate race for the first playoff race, and the guy who had the most dominant regular seasons automatically clawing for points right off the bat. So that's just a part of it. It's in the past now. We're looking forward, and hopefully we can win a championship next week.
Nicholas Caldwell, anybody you want to shout out while we have you in the booth?
Yeah, NCR, National Debt Relief, Alan Dobbs for not running me over. I think I'm the only one he didn't run over this season so far. So I know he's a teammate, just like to give him crap, but hopefully we can win the championship between one of us next week.
19 laps led, started in 11th. You were a factor at the tail end of this race, and the way everything fell out, you find your way to victory lane. We'll see you in 1 week's time at Charlotte.
Thanks, Bradley.
So there you go. We have concluded our coverage in the second to last race of the season. I believe this is our 3rd season here with QSR. Hope you enjoyed tonight's broadcast from Nashville Super Speedway. If you did, make sure you hit that subscribe button. You'll never miss a single race. For everybody here, for Quentin Stewart and everyone in the admin team over at QSR, background work from Adam Baker making this thing look good, and Eddie Smith for all that he does. Our other producers, Rokel, Logan Cook, Lucas Lyons, and Christian Hill. This is Bradley Cooper saying so long from Nashville Super Speedway. We will see you 1 week's time in Charlotte. Until then, stay track.